Hey Darnell Dolphins, it's Mr. Silva. Thank you for joining me during No Name Calling Week. So I think I've been sharing with you that this week was coming up, and that's why we've been focusing on kindness and compassion and empathy. We've been talking about those things a lot because those are all areas that we have to think about to avoid name calling, which is a type of bullying. Um, so, name calling is when you call someone names with the intention to hurt them, offend them, or isolate them. So, what that means is the purpose for you calling that person the name that you decide to call them is because you want to hurt their feelings, you feel like making them bad about themselves, or isolating them means you want them to feel alone and separated from other groups of people. Let's watch a short video that talks a little bit more about name calling.
Loser, nerd, dork, stupid. These are all examples of bullying. Bullying, you say? Name calling is a type of bullying. It can lead to many terrible effects on others.
Name calling is just as bad as any other type of bullying. It can lead to all the same problems for the person you bully.
You see or hear verbal abuse, and if you don't do anything about it, you are also a bully. When you don't feel comfortable standing up for yourself, tell them about it.
Bullying can lower a victim's self-esteem and can lead to other emotional problems. Always think before you speak and consider your actions because people remember what you called them or did to them.
Don't be a bully, be a hero.
All right, so let's think a little bit more about that, like this type of verbal bullying. I know a couple months ago I talked to you a lot about bullying. Basically, when you talk to somebody, you have the choice of using put ups or put downs. So let's think about what some put ups could be. A put up could be using a name that the person likes to be called. So the easiest way to do that is just to use their given name, the name that you know them by, not even creating nicknames for another person. We only want to use nicknames for people if they say that that's the name that they would like to be called. Giving compliments, that's another example of put ups. So compliments are anything that can help a person feel good about themselves, making really, so telling a person, great job, wow, you're so artistic. I love how you changed your hair. Sometimes we give compliments about appearance, how somebody looks, and sometimes we give compliments about a person and something that they've accomplished or they've done. I'm sure all of you love hearing compliments. So remember, if you like hearing compliments, then other people like hearing them also. So a put up is basically anything that makes a person feel good afterwards. So let's move on to put downs. Using a name that the person does not like. So the video gave some examples. Some really simple ones would be like loser, or sometimes people even have names that maybe can be changed just a little bit and it makes it insulting or it puts the person down. Saying something unkind to another person. Anything that's not kind, you're using a put down. So anything that makes the person feel bad, afterwards is a put down. So I would like to ask you to always keep this in mind when you're talking to anybody, family or friends, that you have the choice to use put ups or put downs. So now I want to introduce you to 4 strategies that you can use if you end up having to deal with name calling. So if you're being called names or being bullied, there's 4 ways that you can stay safe. And SAFE is an acronym. We're going to use each letter of that word. The S stands for say what you feel. A stands for ask for help. F is for find a friend. And E is for exit the area. All right, so we're going to go through these one by one. So if you tell a person who's teasing you or who's calling you names the way that their words or their actions make you feel, then it could be a great way to let that person know that you don't like what they're doing. You can start your sentence by saying something like, when you say this to me, it makes me feel this way. Or when you call me this name, it makes me feel however you feel. A lot of the time when people call other people names, they're not using empathy. They're not thinking about how it makes that person feel. So sometimes they really need to be told so that they have to think about it. Most of the time, if you're being bullied, then it would probably make you feel angry or sad. And it's okay to let that person know what you're going through. It's okay to stand up for yourself in appropriate ways, in an assertive way, right? We've talked about that before. And make sure that that person who's using hurtful words is aware that their words impact you. All right, so the second one is ask for help. So sometimes you can handle name calling and bullying by yourself. Like we just talked about, right? You can tell a person how it makes you feel and they might stop. But sometimes you need to ask for help, and that's totally okay. So if a person who's calling you names is making you feel scared that you might get hurt, you can talk to a teacher or another adult about what's going on. Asking for help is not tattling. It's about taking care of yourself and staying safe. So then we have find a friend. So some people who call others names or bully others, they like to pick times and places when no one else is around because it makes them feel safer or more powerful. That's why sometimes you can end a bullying situation just by finding another person or group of people to be around or spend time with. So, hanging out with people who make you feel good about yourself is really important. And the person that's calling you names might think twice before picking on you when you're with a group of friends. And lastly, we have exit the area. So while it might feel like you aren't doing anything at all, sometimes walking away from someone who's picking on you is the best way to end things. Some people who tease you, they want you to get upset. And while it's totally normal for you to feel hurt or angry if you're being called names, if you stick around the person who's hurting you, it could make things worse. So if you can, find a way to exit the area wherever the teasing is happening. That includes if it's happening online, right? So if you're in some kind of text or game and you're being called names, then you can exit out of there. All right. Well, that's all I have for you for today. We remember this week, you might be having some conversations in your class, and the focus is on No Name Calling Week, that we're going to work our hardest to call people by the names they want to be called, because that's what we would want for ourselves, right? Okay, well, thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you next time. Bye.